Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our first PHMC contract entity meeting for the FY25 school year. My name is Joy Reams, and I will be your facilitator for today's meeting. As we enter into a new program year, please describe in 2 to 3 words what success will look like for your program this year. And you can enter your response in the chat. So just 2 to 3 words that will measure success for you this year. And an example of that would be engaged families, right? Because we know that programs have higher quality when families are engaged. So we have one response so far. Full enrollment. Thanks, Maliaka. Yes, we want to be fully enrolled in PHLpreK this year. High utilization of our services. So thank you. Consistently engaged programs. Yes, absolutely. We want our programs engaging in coaching. That came from Ben, one of our Spark coaches. So yes, we want programs engaged in coaching. Successful. Thank you, Cynthia. Elaine says consistency, engagement, and collaborations. I love that. Absolutely. Sandy says fully enrolled, fully staffed with plenty of parent engagement. You're hitting all the buckets, Sandy. Thanks. We also have children have achieved the goals of teaching strategies. Absolutely, absolutely. I know we do a lot of preparing to complete the teaching strategy. Oh, sorry, we have a new name this year, Smart Teach, right? We do a lot to support you guys in completing the assessments for Smart Teach, but we also want to see that children are learning. So thank you for that. Programs tapping into support from Spark QSC. Thanks, Tasha. Appreciate that. And Sherry says fully staffed. Okay, we're starting to see a thread of staff here. So yes, we want all of our programs to be fully staffed throughout the year. Fully staffed and fully enrolled. So great. All right, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. So a few reminders, please mute your computers and phones, enter any questions or comments in the chat box, and we will allow time as we go through the presentation for you to ask questions and we will respond. So our agenda for this afternoon includes a welcome, which we already did. We will have, we're actually going to change the order of this agenda this afternoon. This was this morning's agenda, but our rapid response team presentation will be at the beginning of today's session because the presenter has to leave. So right after I go over the agenda, we will talk about quality supports. And we will have a rapid response team presentation. Then we will do enrollment updates, contracts and invoicing, review Q2 deliverables, discuss near observations, and then wrap up with our Spark Quality Support Center. All right, so we're going to go over some of the quality supports in the system. And again, our Spark Quality Support Center will be towards the end of our presentation. But we do have in our system early childhood mental health and family navigation support. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about those supports. Dora Davis is our early childhood mental health consultant. And Dora provides consultation for referred children in PHLpreK. So in order to get Dora's services, you have to complete the request form, which is always in the provider update. There's always a link there. That form goes directly to the PA key. And when they see that a child has been tagged PHLpreK, they then send the form to us. That form has to go to the PA key because the child still needs to be counted at the state level, but we actually provide the support. She also provides social emotional teaching strategies. So when she comes out to do observations, she will provide strategies. She also models for teachers, as well as she creates sometimes materials for teachers to use in their classrooms. She supports our programs and parents in accessing more intensive services. So if Dora notices during her observations that a child needs more intensive services than she can provide, she will support the program and family in accessing that, whether it's through CBH, or if the family has private insurance and can get a one-on-one through their private insurance, whatever that looks like, she can also support. And then one of the unique roles of the mental health consultant in PHLpreK is that she provides home visits. So she's not physically going into the home, but she does meet with families. And any family that wants to meet on a regular basis while their child is getting supports in the classroom, they can meet with Dora on a regular basis. So she's providing strategies to the teacher as well as to the parents. Lauren Wiggin is our family navigator. And our family navigation support includes support for families of children referred to Elwyn or in the pipeline of being referred. So Lauren can really help from A to Z, right? If you have a child that has been referred, you can request supports, because we know that it can be really overwhelming and time consuming to continue to follow up with Elwyn to make sure that a child gets an evaluation. So Lauren can help with that process. She can check in with Elwyn. She would follow up with the family, follow up with the provider, and let you know where things are. Often it's difficult for Elwyn to get into contact with the family. So sometimes Elwyn will let Lauren know that, and then she will make the connection between the family and Elwyn. Also, if a child is in the pipeline of being referred and they haven't been referred yet, she can also step in and help with that process to ensure that the child gets the referral. Lauren also supports families with accessing appropriate funding for behavioral health services. So if a child needs supports from community behavioral health, the family typically has to have medical assistance. Some families, again, use their private insurance to access one-on-one supports. And so Lauren can help the family in determining which funding is appropriate to receive the services that their child needs. And then finally, she supports families in crisis and connects families with community resources. And again, in the provider update, there is a link for a flyer for the with information of what Lauren does, as well as the request form. Please note, this year we are actually using an electronic form for family navigation. So when you complete it, it goes right to Lauren, and then she can follow up with you. So at this time, I will turn the presentation over to Beth Huertas, who will discuss rapid response with you.
Thanks, Joy. And thank you for letting me be a part of your meeting this afternoon and adjusting your schedule for meeting my needs. I appreciate that so much. Wednesdays get a little crazy for me, and I didn't anticipate the biggest change of time at all. So I appreciate the hospitality. I am Beth Huertas. I am the Social Emotional Supports Manager over at Public Health Management Corporation, and I work with a project called Rapid Response. And we work closely because my desk is directly next to Dora's desk and Lauren, so I see them all the time. But we are here to discuss what rapid response is and how that looks with PHLpreK. You don't mind, Joy? Thank you. This is my current team. This is myself and my social emotional learning coach, Soraya. Unfortunately, she couldn't make the meeting today, but you will see her out in the field and probably at other presentations. And we are the ones that are going out and doing intakes and helping providers in the field that are struggling with a challenging behavior and thinking about possibly suspending or expelling a child. So how will we spend our time together? I'm going to talk to you about exactly what rapid response is and what it is not. So you have a clear picture of what we do. We'll also talk about what Family Navigator does ECMHC, and then what RRT does. So there are some subtle differences, and we do some things that are a little bit the same. I will also give you a little bit about our process and what we do, how we triage, and then we'll open it up for any questions. First, rapid response is an established as an emergency response to prevent a possible suspension and expulsion of a child within an early learning program. And I will emphasize in the city of Philadelphia. We work with the educator and families within about 4 to 8 weeks, and sometimes even 10 weeks, to put strategies and supports in play to assist that child in having a successful experience within an early learning environment. Our goal is to help that program support that family and that child. And our job is to support that educator as well. Sometimes it does take longer than that 8 to 10 weeks, and we'll be giving a warm handoff to a community partner. So some general terms, so we can all get on the same page, is when I say suspension, we're looking for suspension as an action that is administered as a consequence of a child's behavior, and it requires that child not to be present in a classroom or in the program for a specific period of time. So if the child is having a behavior, excluding them from the classroom, taking them down to the office, having them walk the hallways with an educator, those are all pieces of having what we call a soft suspension. Sending a child home early or limiting the hours that they can attend would all be examples of a suspension. For expulsion, what we were talking about is a complete and permanent removal of a child from an early childhood program because of challenging behavior or a non-infectious health condition. Examples of these are advising parents that they must find new childcare because their child is a safety risk, or they're just not a good fit for this program. That could be all examples of what the next expulsion may sound like or look like. Rapid response also is not something that I am not a developmental pediatrician, so I do not give a diagnostic evaluation in any form. I am also not a fast track to getting a one-on-one or like a TSS. Back in the day, that's what they were called. We don't work specifically one-on-one with a child either, and we are not a long-term classroom support for a specific child. So there are some differences and some similarities with Family Navigator, ECMHC, and RRT. I know it can be a lot of acronyms right there. We did try to put it in a digestible graph for you. For rapid response, we get a request that is electronic from a parent, an educator, or an admin, and I will be out there calling or setting up a meeting within 48 business hours of the request. As you can see here, Family Navigator and Early Childhood Mental Health Consultants are rather quickly as well, so those are very similar. Rapid response, we can go for a child-specific reason, but we do need parental consent. If we don't have parental consent, we could still go out and interact with the idea of working on strategies to support that educator with that specific child, but we're going to look at the classroom as a whole. With ECMH as well, ECMHC as Family Navigator, they have parental consent as a need, as well. Also, you can work on behalf of the family and consent is needed as well. For rapid response, our classroom observation tool is social emotional based. We do use the teapot, just like our friends over Dora. And we also go and we work with toddlers, infants and toddler rooms. So we do use something called the tippy toe, and that's the same social emotional content observation tool that is used to help support that coaching session. We do have a care team that is including the coach. It could also include myself as the manager, all people that have been done an intake with, an educator, a caretaker, an admin, or any other community member that the school or the parents would like to incorporate. We could have that as a part of what we call a care team to develop the goals. One thing that we are very transparent. So if we do get a request from a parent, we will share with the early childhood program. Everybody is CC'd on all correspondence. So we are going back and forth. So all of our feedback from our observation, our care team invites, everybody is CC'd and invited to those conversations. I know on PHLpreK side of things, they do get to, Family Navigator does do IEP meetings and they attend those. Dora may create an action plan. We have a plan of solutions for rapid response, and that is with the care team all coming together to collaborate on that, to focus on what goals really do penetrate the best need for both the family and the educator. We provide coaching sessions just like PHLpreK. For Family Navigator, we go through, Lauren goes through providing guidance to family and promotes advocacy. Dora promotes coaching and resource shares with educator and families. We do the same. We're sharing as much as possible those resources and we're doing those coaching. We can be virtual or in person. If the coaching needs to be done with the family, that is on a more of a virtual setting than physical. But in a classroom, we can come in as in person or virtual. The big differences that you'll see is towards the end, we are a short-term 4 to 8 week interaction, and then we are giving them to a community partner. And that community partner could be Dora or Lauren. They are more long-term resources that can be used, while rapid response is a quick response for those short bursts that we can interact with. Joy, did you want to add anything to the Family Navigator or the early childhood mental health consultant roles?
The only thing I would add is that, as you said, that family navigation and early child mental health are long-term. And we do have situations where we would continue to provide service from 1 year to the next year. So for family navigation, we had like 8 returning families from last year. So we do not, end the service during the summer. Family navigation will continue to support the family throughout the summer and into the new PHLpreK year.
Thank you.
Yeah. You ready for me to go to the next slide?
Sure.
Okay.
So this is our rapid response process. You probably heard a little bit about that last slide. We get the request. Anybody could request, a family, an educator, an admin. Once that request comes in, there is contact within 48 hours, either by phone, email, or even a site visit if possible. And we're going to conduct an intake. We do separate intakes for all parties. We intake with the admin, an educator, and the family. They can coexist within the same kind of time period. We've only had a few that gone after the observation just because of scheduling. But once we have those intakes, we are scheduling at least one intake done. We will schedule the classroom observation. We'll do that classroom observation, and then we are going to provide the feedback between that and then the care team meeting. That will be done electronically during an email CC to all parties involved, and then scheduling a meeting. We do offer a variety of different times to accommodate different schedules, but this meeting is virtual, so we try to get as many people to attend as possible. If you can't attend, providing feedback is what we suggest. We can either do a phone call, a Zoom call, or even an email exchange to make sure that we're planning of solutions gives the best goal setting as possible. Then we will, once our goals are set, we are going to start the coaching. Coaching can be 1 or 2 visits, or it could be more depending on scheduling or the need, because each case has been a little different. We will also share some resources during that time. It could be, websites, engaging different activities, modeling certain behaviors or strategies. So a variety of different resources. During this time, we are looking to see, okay, is this going to be a discharge relatively soon, or what community partner would be the best fit for this program if needed? There would be a collaboration meeting with that community partner before we start to even start the discharge process. We're going to check in with the program after coaching sessions to make sure that things are going smoothly, or if we need to tweak a strategy. And then we will do an unannounced classroom visit. And this is really to ensure that the child's still there, or the classroom strategies are still being implemented the best of their ability before we release from rapid response. And again, this time together can be 4, 8, or 10 weeks, but we are going to be a relatively short transition to a community partner. We do triage when we do get a response in. Our intake is in depth. We are asking different funding streams, locations, things of that nature. Our main goal is to reduce suspension and expulsion. So we need those to be out there for those kids or those families or those classrooms that are in the most need. So we do have some triage questions that we ask. A big one is are you working with being evaluated or referred? Are you in that process? Do they already have services? Because that will change the way we might interact with that provider or that family, because we don't want to duplicate any services. We want to just help the best we can into navigating all of that. We will ask if the programs have PHLpreK, Head Starts or pre-K counts, because you already have services. Dora and Lauren are already there. But if they need some support, we can get out there a little quicker. We might be able to support that way. Or we found that we've even been the connecting bridge, that there is support in PHLpreK that they can tap into. And we've collaborated that way. Again, the warm send-offs to a community support person. We are looking to make sure we're making that best judgment call on who those might be. And it might be multiple people. It might be their quality coach. It might be our friends at Spark or Dora or Lauren. We do have connections with Elwin as well that we would like to meet before, saying this is what we've worked on, this is what we've seen, and this is, what we think is next steps and how you can support. This would be a collaboration meeting with everybody. And if we can't get everybody there, at least have a collaboration meeting between RRT and the community partner, and making sure everybody gets that same information via an email. This is how you get a hold of myself and my team. Rapid Response is a QR code that you can scan. It will bring you right to our SurveyMonkey to send in a request. Once that request is sent in, you'll get an email or a call from myself. Even if it's not a full response, if I have some kind of contact information, I will be reaching out just to see if what the need is, or if you had any trouble filling out the request. We are promoting this as best we can because this is relatively new. It launched on August 1st. And we want to make sure providers are aware that there are supports out there, and they're not alone in some of these challenging behavior situations, and that there are alternatives to suspending or expelling, and that we can help them be successful in that area. And if you don't think, rapid response fully is what you need, we do office hours every third Thursday from 1 to 2. It's a Zoom link. Our flyers here that you can register for. Our first one is tomorrow. And the way that works is providers, a parent, anyone could register, come in, you'll be put into a waiting room, and then we will select you to go out to a breakout room to speak with a social emotional learning coach to kind of talk about what's going on and what next steps can be. So this is a great place for people to kind of, feel out what the response team can do for them if they have a candidate for us as well, or what resources they might need. We might be able to give just resources if that's what they're looking for as well. I know I've went through quite a bit and you've been very patient with me, so I thank you for that. Key points: we're early learning programs and children in Philadelphia. That's who we are serving, and it can be anywhere in Philadelphia, any star level. So if you have friends that are in an early learning program that need support, please give them, the rapid response information. The only criteria is you need to be in Philly. We are doing our best to reach out within 48 business hours of every request. And then our top priority are children that do not receive supports from other funding streams, such as early intervention, Philly pre-K counts, Head Start. We will work with them, but we want to make sure that we are connecting with them with their resources that they already have, or supplying some additional supports rather than duplicating it. And the goal is very rapid, quick turnover, and then handing off to a community partner. My email address, phillyrrt@phmc.org, is at the bottom. So if you do have some questions, feel free to email, and I will respond to you as soon as I can. But thank you so much for your time today. If you do have any questions, I'm here, and you have my email.
Thanks so much, Beth. That was great. Thank you. I know we have a comment. I'm not sure if there's a question. Let's see. Okay, someone was responding to the welcome. So doesn't look like we have any questions right now.
No problem.
Yeah, so and I always share that the slide deck will be shared with providers in our provider update on Friday. So they'll have the QR code as well as the email address if they think of any questions.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. All right. We are going to move into enrollment updates. So I will turn the presentation over to Jennifer.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Jennifer Harris, the Enrollment and Family Engagement Manager, overseeing all things enrollment. On my team is also Kamika Burney, our Enrollment and Referral Coordinator, who oversees our two enrollment specialists, Molly Nelson and Elaine Thompson. And we also have a Family Engagement Coordinator. And we're so excited for this new school year. So let's get into some updates. We are currently at 79% enrolled. So we have a little over 4,000 children enrolled. That is awesome. We want to encourage you to continue working towards 100% enrollment. And once you have reached 100%, you want to work on building that wait list in childcare. Some enrollment reminders. As you know, this year we have an online application and a paper application. We encourage you to daily look at the online system in case there are any new families that are interested in your location. You want to look at the system just to check and reach out to those families to work to get them enrolled. If the parent did complete an application online, you do not have to upload anything in childware. Again, you want to check the system daily, and if a parent did complete application online, you do not have to upload anything in childware. For the paper application, if a paper application was completed, again, all enrollment documents must be uploaded in childware before that family is approved. So those documents include the FY25 application, proof of age, and proof of address. Again, if we don't have that in the system and it wasn't an online application, you'll receive a notification that the child was not approved, and that's why one of those documents are missing. As we are in enrollment, I want to remind you of our enrollment time frame. A child can be enrolled 48 hours from the receipt of application or entry into childware. So receive application date for our 1.0 users, but for 2.0, the date that you put the child in is 48 hours from there. So today is Wednesday. So any children put in today, they won't be able to start until Monday. Any children put in on Thursday, they can't start until Tuesday because we need that 48-hour time frame. So again, we can't backdate. Each child will be able to start 48 hours from the date that they were put in the system. PHL Pre-K enrollment analysis. Beginning in November, we will conduct an analysis of approved enrollments, vacancies, and waitlists as reported in childware to understand where you are in the enrollment process. Sites that are not at 100% enrollment with seats that have been vacant for 30 days or more will be at risk for slot reallocation. Again, if you have any seats that have been vacant for 30 days or more, as we begin reviewing in November, those seats will be at risk for slot reallocation. Also, just put in here our enrollment and waitlist protocol for your records. As we utilize childware, I want to always share some resources and supports. If you need to schedule one-on-one, you can select that link and someone from the childware team will be able to support and assist you. There are times when you get new staff, we want to make sure that whatever staff is working in childware, that they know what they're doing. Sometimes you may need a refresher. We have shared here the refresher for our 1.0 users and our 2.0 users, and an intro for any new staff that may come along. We also have the childware tip sheets. If you need any support, the tip sheets are handy and able to take you through step by step the different things that you would do in the system. If you have any questions regarding childware, you want to email helpdesk@phmc.org. You want to add childware in the subject line or in the body of the email. Again, anything related to childware, you want to reach out to the helpdesk@phmc.org. If you have any questions related to enrollment, anything related to the online platform, you want to contact the Fully Pre-K enrollment team. So you can email us at phlpreK@phmc.org and we'll answer whatever questions you have. If you're having trouble seeing children, need access, just email us and we'll be able to support you. Again, any childware tech support, email helpdesk@phmc.org. And then all families, if they need support being connected with the center or having trouble with their application, they can call us at 844-745-7735. And we have access to an interpreter if those services are needed. Those hours of operation for that phone line is Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Again, anything enrollment related, just email us at phlpreK@phmc.org. Thank you so much and have a great school year.
Thanks, Jen. I believe we may have a question. Let me see. It looked like a question came up. No, actually, that was a comment. Okay.
I have a question. I'm sorry.
Oh, sure.
So we have a large number of PHL for our facility. So when we're trying to upload, the system is moving very, very slow for us because we're 100% enrolled. But because we have altogether 126 PHL students, it's taking us a little longer to get them all into the system. And then as we're putting them in, we have to wait because it's like a delay and lag. Is there some way for them to mitigate that?
Are you saying that you're enrolling a child and the documents are in the system, but you submitted them?
So what's happening is the system is going very slow for us, and then we'll put documents in, and sometimes when we go back, like for example, I'll say last month when we're trying to put all the kids in, we'll put the documents in, and then we'll get an email saying the documents are there. Then Miss Liv will go back in and put them back in again. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. So we're trying to see if there's a situation just for our childware. Is that for everybody childware? It's just a lag in the system. We're just trying to mitigate it because we have all our students. We did let our provider specialists know we have all the students. It's just getting them into the system as the delay right now.
Gotcha. So two things. If you're having trouble uploading documents or they're not staying, please send an email to helpdesk@phmc.org, but also send it to the box so I can be aware of that to make sure I track that as well. And in regards to like getting that bounce back of the child not being approved, excuse me, the enrollment specialists are on it. So they have their time frame of when they have to make sure that they're approving. So that's why you get it so quickly because they're on it to keep that list down as good as possible because there's so many children coming in at one time. But just email me to let me know that there is a challenge so that we can work to support to see why how we can help you with that.
Yes, I appreciate it because we've been 100% since August, and it's just forever to get all those kids in for us. So I want to make sure we have them.
I
And then,
understand.
and then the
And
second,
so
sorry.
sorry. And it's good if you can to just put the documents in first before you submit the child, because then you won't have to re-enroll them. So if you can, just make sure the documents are in, then submit the child for enrollment, and then it'll be smooth sailing, the child to get approved.
Okay, and then my second question is the system going to allow us to also put the wait list kids in? We had a little bit of difficulty where once we got to 100% in the system last year, the extra kids, instead of it showing up as extra, they won't put them as pre-enrolled, or wait listed. So I want to make sure, is the wait list still working, or do we just wait until a child falls up, then add those kids in?
Good question. So for the wait list, you don't enroll them. You just do the application and then you leave them there. So when you put a child in childware, you do the application and then the child is listed as applicant. But then you go back and you select enrollment to actually enroll them. For the waitlist kids, you don't do that step. You just do the application so that they're listed as an applicant and that child will be on your wait list. And in the protocol and that's in here that I linked, it does have those steps. But if you have any questions or any challenges, don't hesitate to reach out and give me a call.
Okay, I just want to make sure because last year, we had 6 kids that was waiting, and then we had a few kids that was turned, but they weren't pulled over, and it looked like we didn't have all the kids, and it was like kind of a fight to show them like, hey, we did have those kids, and they just wasn't pulled over. Because are we pulling them over? You guys pulling them over? So I just wanted to make sure.
Okay,
Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
not a problem. So another question says, how can I download applications submitted online? Um, So when you go into the online platform, and again, I'll try to maybe work out a tip sheet or something to put in the newsletter. But what happens is when you go into the online platform and you select the child, in the top right corner it says export, and it will export that child's all the information that they put in the system. It comes out in an Excel document, not a PDF. But even if you want to list like all children that have applied, when you go to apply, it lists all the kids that have applied for your location. And in the top, after you select the children that you want, there's a icon that says export. And when you select export, that will let you download the applications. If you need further assistance, please email us. I work to give you a call to walk you through that process.
Thanks, Jen.
No worries. You guys have a great day.
All right, we will move on to contract updates and Q2 deliverables.
Hi, y'all. I'm Carrie Lee. I'm the contracts manager, and I'll start off with this section. So as a reminder, the slot rate increased to 10,500 per slot, which is really great news. But that also means that you need to revise your budgets that you're submitting as exhibits. They were due on, I believe, the 13th. That has passed. So if you have not revised your budget and submitted that, please do so immediately. Any other exhibits as well that need revisions need to be completed immediately as well. These all need to be approved to conform contracts, and so we can begin invoicing in October. The FY25 deliverables checklist for Q2 is available. I'll drop it in the chat here, and it was in also the last provider update that came out last Friday. So this I'll share with you on the screen as well. It gives an overview of the deliverables for the quarter. Yeah. Okay, so this is very similar to the Q1 checklist that we shared at the contracts training. This one is just focused on Q2 deliverables and all the things you need to do in the coming quarter. So as you can see on the left-hand side, it has the deliverables. The next column is things to consider and things you should be doing around that deliverable. It also has the deadline, when it will be monitored by our team, and then a space to write in any notes or follow-up that you want to use. So that is the Q2 deliverables checklist. So please check that out when you have the chance. Okay, and we'll bring back up the PowerPoint. So, Okay, so the next thing is fiscal deliverables, fiscal reporting. So for FY25 fiscal reporting, we are holding a training, a fiscal training on October 2nd. This link to register was also run in the provider update, and I can drop that in the chat as well to register. At this training, we'll review FY25 fiscal expectations and deliverables outlined in the PHLpreK contract. There aren't any surprises here. We went over this briefly at the contracts training. We'll dive a little bit more into the financial system providers need to have in place to support reporting requirements, and then also some resources as well. Then on to also FY24 reporting. Everyone was sent notifications that were in the program last year about what kind of FY24 fiscal reporting needs to happen for your organization. So year-end expense reports. I dropped in the chat the fiscal resources landing page. This has submission links to those forms and some other resources as well. So the year-end expense reports, these are past due. So if you have not turned in your FY24 year-end expense report, please do so immediately. For desk review folks, those folks were notified about who they are and what they needed to submit. The general ledger deadline is past due, and I know some other folks who have submitted that already are in various phases of submitting their supporting documentation. But please get those things in as soon as possible by those deadlines. And then if you needed an external review, please complete the form by September 30th to let us know the status of your review. If you'll be submitting by October 30th, which would be on time, or you can request an extension till the end of the year. And that would need to be, you need to submit also your CPA engagement letter and then have a compelling reason. That extension request would go to OCF for approval. Okay, now I will pass it to Cassandra.
Hi, everyone. I'm Cassandra Gurries as the Data and Performance Manager for PHLpreK. So I'm going to be talking about ASQ Online and Teaching Strategies Gold. So first for ASQ Online, at this point in the year, you should have someone from your site who's been to the ASQ Online training, and they should have an account to access ASQ Online. If that's not true, I'm going to put my email in the chat. Please shoot me an email if you're having any issues there. ASQ3 and ASQ SE screenings are due in ASQ Online 45 days from a child's enrollment date. So I just calculated yesterday. The earliest possible date that might be is October 10th. So if your first day of school was August 26th, that would be the first day any children enrolled that day would have their screenings due. At this point, with access to ASQ Online, you should be setting up child profiles and completing screenings in ASQ Online. I am going to address this question that I see in the corner here. So somebody just said we just did our ASQs via paper copy, or is this okay, or does it have to be online? So all screenings need to make it online. If you did it via paper, there is a way for you to do a sort of short entry of the existing answers. So it's not like you need to redo the screenings. You just need to enter the information that you have from the paper copies into the online tools so that there's a record of it, because that's where we're going to be doing our compliance checks. So yeah, okay, great. Thank you. So that's the answer to that question. We have office hours every Monday from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. throughout the through the end of October. That registration link is in the newsletter. It's also in your training materials in the PowerPoints that we sent out throughout the year as we've done those trainings. So please sign up for those if you're having any issues. For example, if you want a demo for how to enter in those paper copies into the online tool, you're welcome to come to the office hours and I can show you the best way to do that. And then you're going to want to also check out the ASQ online landing page, which is also linked in the newsletter. That has the training materials, it has FAQs, it has information about the deadlines. I'm seeing another question that's just come in here that says, So there's no separate online login by PHLpreK site. It's just like a job form. Lisa, no. So there is a separate login. So you have your own, when somebody attends the training and they're made a program administrator, when they log in, they have access just to that one site. So even if you have like an agency that has 3 sites, there will be 3 different, you'll have access to the 3 different sites separately within ASQ Online. So Lisa, if you want to shoot me an email to see, who the program administrator at your site is, I'm happy to answer those questions. And then the last thing I wanted to highlight about ASQ Online is that there is a feature in there called Family Access, which we didn't go over in our onboarding trainings, but is available for use for anyone who's interested in it. So Family Access, when you log in as a program administrator, it's just going to be up in the right-hand corner. If you click on that, you're able to enable URLs, so websites, where you can share that link with your families, and then they can complete a screening online at home, and then you can just accept the screening into your account. So it's a really nice tool if you'd like families to be completing the screenings on their own. And there are links on the landing page about how you can get that set up. And again, you're welcome to come to office hours if you want like a hands-on demo of how it works. But just wanted to highlight that tool because we didn't go over it in the training. And I think it's really useful if you are interested in using it. That being said, it's not required. That's not how you have to do it. So that's ASQ Online. And then Teaching Strategies Gold. We just finalized our checkpoint dates for the upcoming year. So PHLpreK providers, you're required to complete the winter and spring checkpoints for TSG. So the winter checkpoint is going to be on February 17th. 2025. That's a Monday. The 15th was on a Saturday, so we shifted it. And then the spring checkpoint is going to be on May 15th, which is the usual date for it. So just wanted to also highlight that Teaching Strategies, or my Teaching Strategies, has shifted to Smart Teach. So it's just a rebrand of the same tool that you're familiar with. But there's good information in the newsletter and on a landing page that'll be coming out Friday about like kind of what the shift means. You're still able to do everything the same, it just kind of looks a little bit different. And we're encouraging everyone to make sure that they're getting set up in Teaching Strategies, in Smart Teach now. And we'll be doing a child profile check in the middle of October. To just make sure that you're getting your child profiles in classrooms set up correctly in there. So just watch out for that and make sure that you're all set with logging into TSG. I'm gonna drop my email in the chat along with the ASQ online landing page so you guys can see that. And please shoot me an email if you're having any issues logging into TSG. So that is everything I have. Thank you, everyone. And I'm gonna pass it on to, I think, Brittany.
Thank you, Cassandra. My name is Brittany Means. I'm one of your contract coordinators, and our next topic of discussion will be staff qualification and waivers. As you all know, we have PHLpreK staff qualification waivers for assistant teachers, lead teachers, and directors who haven't quite yet met the requirements for this program year. So we just wanted to share some staff qualification compliance reminders with you. First, you want to make sure that your site director is listed in the PD registry. Also, you want to make sure all your classrooms are set up in the registry as well, and that they are all tagged as PHLpreK. Additionally, all your teachers and assistant teachers must be assigned to a correct classroom. And also, please note that all your staff need to have their career pathway levels up to date as well. And then lastly, just want to make sure that you're applying for your staff waivers as you see appropriate. Carrie's going to
So thanks, Brittany. So we know a lot of providers have been asking about teacher bonuses that the mayor announced earlier in the year. So we do anticipate that OCF will release information about this soon. And staff credentials for PHLpreK will need to be current and verified in the PD registry, including having approved waivers if needed.
Thank you. So as we continue with the waivers and trends for staff qualifications, we just want to ensure that you are reviewing the eligibility criteria carefully and they're only requesting for waivers for your eligible staff. We want to make sure that they are uploading current and up-to-date enrollment and coursework in the PD register as well. We have seen it on some of the applications, but we want to make sure that that enrollment is being verified in the PD registry too. Additionally, it is very imperative to ensure that your enrollment in coursework is by January 31st, 2025, in order to remain eligible for a waiver. Please note, any individuals applying for waivers over multiple years must show evidence of continued progress as well. So if you're considering applying for a staff waiver, please be sure to review the eligibility criteria carefully. And if you have any questions about eligibility or requirements, please don't hesitate to reach out to PHLpreK at phmc.org. Also just wanted to share with you this in the future, we're really trying to implement next steps. So many of you have seen in the waivers that have been already submitted. Either if you're approved or not approved, we have been making sure applicants receive emails with guidance and next steps that have specific links that will help you with the transition. And all individuals who have an approved waiver have also been referred to Spark to complete an education plan as well.
All right. Thanks, Brittany. So as in previous years, NEAR, which is the National Institute for Early Education Research, will be conducting a study throughout PHLpreK. The study will really determine the quality of our programs by using the class tool. And so we have selected 100 classrooms to participate in a fall pilot. And they have started to schedule those observations. So if you are selected for the pilot, please note that you will hear from a NEAR representative very soon. There will be one observation completed in selected classrooms, as I said, using the class tool. The observations will last between 2.5 to 3 hours. The NEAR research program coordinators, which are Charlie and Clarissa, will email you approximately 1 week in advance with your scheduled observation during the fall observation window. Data collectors will arrive 10 to 15 minutes before the start of the school day. I will also note that when Charlie and Clarissa reach out to you, they will give you contact information so that if you need to cancel the observation, please reach out to them in enough time so that they can reach the data collector and, inform the data collector that they should not come for the observation. Please note also that data collectors cannot share individual results with teachers, directors, or anyone else at the time of the observation. However, Spark will provide this information after the fall observation. So at this time, I am going to turn the presentation over to our Spark partners, and I believe Aaliyah is presenting.
Yes, hello, Joy. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Aaliyah Brown. I am the coaching manager for Spark Quality Support Center. So the Spark, you can go to the next slide, Joy. The Spark Quality Support Center is responsible for delivering high-quality support services directly to providers participating in the City of Philadelphia's PHLpreK program. Spark QSC supports with the implementation and completion of the contract deliverables, and I will be adding our website to the chat. Next slide, please. The Spark QSC is comprised of a robust team that offers an array of quality support services committed to improving and sustaining the quality of your PHLpreK program. Our Spark specialists are contact experts in a variety of fields like early childhood education, business, family and community engagement, health, and equity and inclusion. They serve as our professional development facilitators and can also provide specialized consulting that complements the coaching that we offer. Our coaches are part of the Spark team to support providers to the level of their choosing. They offer one-on-one coaching, provide assessments, and can also act as a concierge to guide providers to the resource that they need. Although coaches are a go-to resource, all providers have the ability to access resources independently if that is what best suits their needs. Our Knowledge Center serves as an online library containing key information, self-assessments, on-demand trainings, and resources like tools, job aids, and templates you may need. It is available online and accessible to providers 24/7. We'll take a little look at that a little bit more in the next couple of slides. Our event calendar, housed within the Knowledge Center, is where providers can find Spark's schedule of professional development trainings, peer learning circles, and communities of practice, which are live trainings that are currently available on Zoom. This content is developed and delivered by specialists in their respective content areas. The events calendar is available on the website 24/7 for providers to access these opportunities. We do have a training request form to meet providers' individual professional development goals. Self-guided and on-demand professional development opportunities are coming up soon. And lastly, our help desk. If providers need guidance to resources for specific needs, our help desk and chat feature are available during our regular business hours. Providers simply share the resources they're looking for, and the help desk will guide you to all available resources, mostly aligned with what you're asking for. Next slide, please. Spark QSC supports with the implementation and completion of contract deliverables, and here is how our coaches can help. Our PHL coaches can or will conduct an initial site visit and intake process to align our services to your needs. The intake survey can be completed during the initial site visit or beforehand and then discussed with the Philly Pre-K coach. Supporting implementation of contact requirements that ensure success in Philly Pre-K, for example, using schedules and establishing systems to ensure that your TSG is completed on time. We also help establish understanding of the why of requirements and how they impact classroom and business practices. We also share resources. So we are currently offering monthly coaching office hours each month, focusing on the different contract deliverables. And you can join us to discuss anything at that time. Our next one is scheduled for October the 15th at 1:30. And you can register ahead of time through the Knowledge Center or in the PHLpreK newsletter that comes out weekly. Next slide, please. Perfect. So Joy did bring up the NEAR for 24-25. So our coaches will also work with programs participating in the Improvement Child Outcomes Pilot. It will be 100 classrooms that will include new sites that have joined the program into year 24-25. Year one pilot participants and providers that participated in the PBIS summer training series. The coaches will use an overlapping approach using 3 tools. The first is the foundational teaching practice. It is designed to focus on our critical teaching foundations that have a positive impact on children outcomes. Second is the creative curriculum fidelity. This guarantees that instructional practices are consistent with the curriculum's objectives and methods, which are specifically designed to promote effective classroom interactions. And lastly, class engagement. Teachers can proactively create environments where class measures are maximized, enhancing the quality of teacher-student interactions. Coaching supports will include intake meetings, observations and debrief, PD tools, and resources that can be provided. An orientation for this will occur the week of 9/30. More details will be coming up soon in the PHL newsletter. Our content specialists. Our content specialists provide a plethora of options. The first is professional development opportunities. The specialist team strives to develop and offer professional development opportunities that align to the contract deliverable timeline to ensure providers have access to the knowledge and skills necessary to follow through. For example, some of our topics include collecting observations and documentation, budgeting, building positive family partnerships, and many more. We are also in the process of releasing information about our program year professional development opportunities, which will include full day in-person and half-day virtual trainings, 1 to 2 hour learning opportunities, and an array of topics that will be scheduled throughout each month. Our Knowledge and Help Desk Center. Spark strives to curate accessible resources that can aid in meeting contract deliverables like templates, checklists, best practices and tips, or resources and guides. Individualized support that is based on referrals or upon request by the PHLpreK coach. After you connect with your PHLpreK coach, if there are more specialized support needed, the specialists are invited to share their expertise. And lastly, we have a training request form, which I will also add to the chat, where you'll be able to fill that out if there's a particular topic that we aren't currently covering or a specific date that you aren't able to attend a training. You'll be able to request a training at your location. This is our Knowledge Center. The Knowledge Center serves as an online library of information and resources. At the top of the image here and on our website are header links that will direct you to more information about coaching, professional development, help desk, events in our calendar. Further below that is a search bar, and like Google, you can type in a few words and it'll generate a list of information and resources that you can utilize. Please give us feedback on our resources that you think we need to add or that you're currently looking for. We want to make sure our resources are relevant and valuable to you in the classroom. Our events calendar is housed within the Knowledge Center. It is where providers will find Spark's schedule of professional development opportunities. On the screen's display are events calendar and the steps to find and then register for one of the PD events. If you are currently in our account system, your information will pre-populate into the registration form. If you are not in the system, you will enter your information manually and it will be saved for the future. Please make sure you know your PHLpreK PD registry ID. We highly recommend that you review the information populated so that it's accurate and we have the right information in our records. And lastly, if you would like more information, there are a variety of ways to get that. First, get in touch with your PHLpreK coach. They are a direct line of contact and support by the Spark QSC. You can also explore our Spark QSC website, which I will add to the chat at the end. And you can also connect with our live help desk support through a phone call, email, or chat feature on our Knowledge Center. We definitely look forward to working with all of you soon. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks, Aaliyah. So we may have a few questions in the chat. Let's see. Okay, I think we answered that. Okay, no, it actually looks like we just have a lot of comments. So, all right, great. All right, well, some dates to remember. So September 30th is the date of our 100% enrollment benchmark. So again, please ensure that your programs are 100% enrolled by this date. On October 2nd, we will have the FY25 fiscal training. October 16th will be the date that our data team pulls data to make sure that every program has profiles in Smart Teach for children enrolled in your program. And on Mondays from 12 to 1, from September through October 28th, there will be ASQ online office hours. Let me make sure. It looks like, did we get another question? Okay, no, that was Aaliyah. All right, well, we want to thank everyone for participating this afternoon. We look forward to a wonderful year of serving children and families. And we wish everyone a great afternoon.
Hi, this idea. I had a question I put in the chat. Is NEAR every year?
Yes, NEAR is the organization that we contract with every year to provide an evaluation for PHL.
So every year they come twice?
No, every year they come at least once to do an observation. Programs selected for the pilot will receive 2 observations this year.
Oh, that's why I had 2 then, because I was thinking last year I had 2. That's what I was thinking.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Let's see. I'm not sure.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, I just want to make sure. I did see a few more comments come in. Okay, I think there's a question. Did we have to sign in? No, we will see who's logged in after the meeting, so that's fine. Okay, I think that's it. So again, thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we wish everyone a wonderful school year and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye-bye.